Hello, hello, hello. This is Misty Magdalena Grace with the new and improved version of Healthy and Wealthy and Wise, where we talk about spirituality, psychedelics, plant medicine, microdosing, and really that journey within to finding your best innate wisdom, to your best health, your best wealth through all sorts of inner child healing, trauma release, grief recovery, overcoming addictions, and working with the mind, the body, and spirit. So go ahead, leave a review, subscribe, download. We look forward to your feedback. Thanks for tuning in today. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is a double-header day. Actually, 2 days in a row is what I mean. Misty Magdalena Grace here with the second day, second guest, and really taking it into the focus now that we're in the spring, the season of the goddess. Yesterday, we talked about what do women really want with Livia Genvy. So if you missed that, please go back and check that show. And today I'll be introducing my beautiful friend, Kat, here in a moment. Just want to welcome everyone and officially just remind you that if you are new to my channel, I'm a mind, body, spirit alchemist, focusing on health, wealth, and expanded consciousness. That's the wisdom piece of my channel here at Healthy and Wealthy and Wise. So please like, subscribe, hit the share button if you feel this message has really touched your heart today. And at the end of the show, you can find out how you can get involved in my community and reach out to me if there's anything that you would like to see on the show. I'm always open for what you want, what you need. I'm so grateful and thankful for all of you for listening to me for almost, it'll be, 6 years, I think, this summer, 5 years, technically, I guess. But just, it's been an honor to have pivoted, and it's really cool to have Kat back because she was one of my first guests when I pivoted from entrepreneurship podcast to spirituality. And she's had her own spiritual awakening, and we've followed each other for quite some time. And she's just been such a blessing and such a gift to have in my universe. So thank you for making time today. I know you've had a lot of exciting things happening, and we're going to get caught up since you haven't been on our show for about 18 months and you've got some new things that you've created. So if you haven't heard of Kat before, she's a somatic facilitator, and she just launched her first Oracle card deck called Healing Cards, and she has a huge business background. The last time she was on the show, we actually talked about religion and church wounding, and today we're focusing on the goddess. So it's kind of a nice part two of where we started, Kat. So thank you so much for being here today. I'd love for you to catch us up on what's been happening in your life, maybe share a little bit of your bio for people who haven't met you yet.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much for having me again. I know we're going to have an amazing conversation. So I have been a healer, and I've been afraid to use that word. I stay away as far away as possible from that, but that's really what I am. I use many modalities. I make my own cocktail of modalities using somatics, hypnosis, sound healing, and very soon I'm sure there will be a trickling of herbs that I'm adding to my bag of tricks, because I've seen how herbs have changed. It's changing everything, how I operate, especially post-menopause, and how my body feels, energy, and all that stuff. So I get to help people with the same tools that are and have helped me in the past.
I love that. Yeah, we're on the same page because I'm doing more with herbs and yoni steam and witchy practices, bringing back what our ancestors knew and did every day.
Oh my God, you said that so well. So talking about ancestors, I also have my incense going in the background. So I just came back. So I'm from the Caribbean, and now I've lived here longer than I've lived there, but I was born and raised there, finished high school there and everything. And ever since then, which is going to be 30 years on the 30th, which is insane. I cannot believe that. I have only gone a handful of times because life was not so great there for me, because I was very other-like. It was very different, and I was very happy about that. But coming from a place that at the time, it was very group mentality. We think this way, we like this, we do this. And as a Taurus, I am very me focused. I have my own opinions. I'm happy that you have your opinions, but I love my own opinions and my own way of doing things. So I went back recently, maybe 3 weeks ago, with my mother, and it was for a very extended period of time. It was 2 weeks, which is a long time to be in a place where things are going to pop up, even if you don't want to. And things did pop up. And that first week was rough, like rough as all get out, because all these feelings and all these things came up. And it was not until like almost the trip was over that I was able to have this beautiful healing with the land, and the land was calling me back in this beautiful way. Not go back to like live there all the time, but to spend more time there and be in nature. And it was so healing. And it was like the call back to my ancestors, and my ancestors were indigenous people and also people from Africa. So all these practices that have been taken away in its colonizing way, right? So I'm going through this uncolonizing season of my life, and it's beautiful and exciting at the same time.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Yeah, there's so many people, especially women. And I know we really want to, we're definitely targeting the men, because if you're a man, you probably have a woman or two or three or four in your life, whether it's your mom, your sister, your cousin, your partner, your daughter. So on that note, I'd like to dive right in. First, kind of, even though if people didn't see the first show, we really talked about our church wounds, our religion wounds. Also, some people could call it patriarchy wounds, things of past lives where women were shut down, burned at the stake, all that kind of stuff, and how it's showing up in today, especially with your and my generation. I feel like we're the bridges between the past institutional dogma and the future, where hopefully our children, our sons and daughters, will have no idea at how strict and dogmatic things had to be. And if you didn't believe the same way that I believed, you kind of alluded to that with the opinions, oh my gosh, well, I can't be your friend. And we're working on unity consciousness here, people. We're working on this awakening on the planet, this age of Aquarius. So I'd like to hear your update on how things have transformed, evolved since our last show in regards to those wounds.
Yeah, for sure. So even though we did, so you and I worked on, and it was amazing. It was my first introduction to microdosing, which was incredible. And it really started my journey, but I still had a ways to go to reconcile with a God that is not so petty and, and limited and in the box and stuff. And my relation, I missed them a lot, but I didn't know how to reconcile this new version of me, because I was told he would not want me or love me anymore if I was myself, if I was this goddess, free and loving, like the love that I feel for everybody, no matter what you practice, what you do. My job and my natural desire is to love. So I went through this amazing transformation of reconciling who God is for me in my life, how we can have a relationship. And I'm a very, so now I call myself spiritual, because I don't want to be associated with anything that was organized religion. I call it like the building. I have left the building literally and met God on the outside, which is beautiful. And to the point that I can call God and I can say the universe, I can say the creator. And if anybody else has another name, I'm not offended, I'm not triggered, and I'm not, and in my heart, and I know he knows, however you want to call it, I'm not disrespecting God. I'm not disrespecting the divine. I'm not doing that. He knows who he is. He has no crisis of identity. So he's like, you call me whatever you want, because people in other cultures and indigenous places, they might not have that word, but they know what they're saying, and he knows who they're talking to. So that has been key for me and has freed me to explore these amazing versions of me that were hidden, that were subjugated, and I know that's a strong word, and we're kind of like put in check. Now I'm like, I'm getting myself out of check. I cut my hair, if you notice that.
It's
Hair,
beautiful.
thank you. Hair has a lot of history. So my hair, I hadn't cut my hair since I was like 19 years old. So my hair was long. Like I trimmed it, but not the length, right? So it got really long. And in December, I was like, I think my hair was holding on to a lot of things, and I'm like,
Wow.
I don't want this anymore. It's just hair. It will grow back as it always does.
Yeah.
And I felt liberated. I felt like I letting go of all that hair. I'm like, I feel lighter. It's almost like a new beginning. And it's been a new beginning of freeing myself to things that were a big no-no, like cannabis, like doing ceremony with cannabis, which I didn't even know that was a thing. And it's been beautiful. Like me, last night I went to the Psychedelics Society monthly meetup.
Mhm.
That phrase with my name would never be in the same sentence. Never. So we had this amazing speaker who's a legend in the MDMA world, came and do with his wife, do an amazing presentation. And I'm like sitting there taking notes furiously. And I'm like, this is going to help a lot of people. Like, I know this is when it's done properly, when it's done in a healing way, in regulated in the sense of who's doing it, what are they doing, what are you putting in your body, where does this come from, are you able mentally and emotionally to handle this?
Mm.
And then also, I did not know that it was so much about community, which we all need, especially
Mm.
like I've been single for a long time and my daughter's in college. So I spend a lot of time by myself, which I like to a point. So me moving to this beautiful, since we met, we also, I moved states. I'm now in upstate New York. I'm really like 15 minutes from Woodstock, which is the mecca of all things woo-woo and amazing. So I have opened myself up to all these amazing things without losing my faith, which is I think a lot of people are afraid, and like people see it, and my faith is stronger than ever. It's just that it's not in a box anymore.
I love that. It's so cool how our lives have been parallel, because when you started working with me, I know we had talked about healing the witch wound. I changed my name. And then I, last summer, heard the call to go back to a quote unquote church. They don't actually call themselves that. It's a community more, but I was shocked. I thought I was going to walk in and I would burst into flames, and I didn't. And I fell in love with it, actually. And I'm starting to sing again, which I did as a little girl in the church. I'm starting to, become a practitioner there. And yet here I am, as weird and as quirky and as witchy as I can possibly get in the medicine space, but then also just consciousness with yoga and all of the things. Like I want to talk about, what you've been up to here shortly, but it's like we're all coming back to what I believe our ancestors had, when you respected anyone and everyone for their beliefs, their weirdness. This is 5,000 plus years ago, by the way. So if anybody's wondering, this isn't just your great, 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 great grandmother. This is like a long, 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 long time ago, before the, even some would say the Kali Yuga era, which we're not going to get into all of the semantics of those kinds of things, but where we can all just love one another, because we're all fractals of the universe, God, and ultimately we're coming back to the goddess. So I'd like to, pivot and go there now. And just when you think of healing the goddess within, how does that show up for you today, now that you've really embraced your truth?
Yeah, that's such a beautiful question, and I just want to go back a little bit to what you said, because it ties together when you say you are as witchy as ever, and I think we're just reclaiming. Part of the goddess is reclaiming your power. It's reclaiming, taking back that word, because that word before literally had people killed, burned at the freaking stage, right? So reclaiming your witchiness is, I am a healer. Nature is a healer. Can you imagine a creator that would put his creation in a world that did not give him the medicine to be able to heal themselves? That doesn't make sense to me, right? So as I'm delving more into herbalism, I'm realizing, oh my God, God put us here on earth, and He's like, I'm gonna put all these things here so you can heal yourself from anything and everything you can think of, because I am a God of love. And I'm like, why didn't I fully understand this before? Even how I feed myself, the things that I like, staying away from things that are not good for me, all those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Incredible to know that I'm very intuitive, and I am emb- embracing that. Like this week has been a lot. I got a last minute call from a mentor who I really admire, was a really amazing community. And he's like, hey, I'm out of town. Something came up. I know it's last minute, no pressure, but can you run the meeting today? So
Ah,
when I finish, freaking out and put my mouth closed again, I said, yeah, for sure, I'll do it, freaking out anyways. So, and I have my launch of the cards this week, and then I have this podcast interview, and I have a live event in about an hour and a half. So I have all that going on. So I'm like, I'm just gonna show up as me. I'm gonna show up with my medicine, and I'm gonna be me. And when I tell you, the freedom that I felt to use my intuition. And it's more, I don't have another word for it right now, but that's all I have. I'm very intuitive. So as I was doing my session, my somatic hypnosis slash sound healing session with a nice size dose of intuition, I was
Mhm.
able to flow, and I was able to say things that I don't know where they come from. I don't know these people from Adam, so I have no inside information. And then I finish up and I'm like, does anybody want to share? And somebody said, well, I'm still crying. I can believe that happened. That is amazing. Somebody else said, you said this, and that. That is happening to me right now. You said this analogy. That was for me. And I'm sitting there like, I just did what I know. Nobody's trained me on my intuition.
Yeah.
So because I am coming back to myself, these gifts that I have are
Mhm.
coming together. And even though I have study and I have certifications and all that fun stuff, I'm just going back to what I know, and I'm doing a lot of unlearning. So this season, the more healing I do, the more unlearning. And it's almost like when you are painting cabinets and you have to remove the paint, and it's a really painful process and hard, and you get coats and coats of paint, and then you uncover this beautiful artistry and naturalness underneath. That is the process that I have been going through.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's what I mean. This is all about healthy, wealthy, and wise is about your expanded consciousness by going within. To me, intuition is like in, I don't know, it's really your connection to source. It's your divine
Yeah.
fractal self, again, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That's being, you're channeling your truth and your essence, and people are hearing it and resonating with it because it's their truth. You're just helping them wake up and recognize and remember.
Yeah, I mean, in church they call it prophecy, so they just have a different word for it. But what
Yeah.
are you doing? What are you doing when you're prophesying? Who's right? You're saying things that you don't know, that you have no way of knowing. Where does that come from? All
Yeah.
good gifts, right? We know that where that come from. I know where that comes from. It's just that I'm not afraid to recognize that these gifts can be used outside of some one man telling me what to do and telling me what I can and cannot do, when can I talk and when I cannot show up, and how I need to look, that I am embracing that I have autonomy, and that my gifts are needed and wanted, and that I feel more alive than ever when I am being who I was created to be.
Amen. That's amazing. Yeah. And I'm sure you're noticing this too. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about somatics because I know this is important for the world right now. And I've noticed my vibration has, shifted higher, my frequency, and I'm attracting people, or people are coming back from my past that, it just wasn't the right time. Even like talking to you again, we haven't been able to talk for a long time. And then boom, all of a sudden the universe brings us back together because it's divinely aligned, it's divinely appointed. And I'm just like, I'm hearing people like see me and hear me, and then when they speak, it's like, it's not telepathy yet because
Yeah.
we're heading there. We're headed to more and more telepathic communication as we all ascend. But it's almost kind of like those people are saying to you, like, oh my God, like we're thinking on the exact same wavelength, like we're finishing each other's sentences, like we just blend together so well. It's so much fun. And we had to work really hard to get here, didn't we?
Yes, yes, we do. We're calling each other. I don't know if it ever happened that earlier today, I texted someone and she said, literally, it happened this morning too. Somebody texted me. I was looking something up to send it to that person. Then I texted someone and then she says, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. So
Yeah.
I think we're more connected than ever. And like you, I am attracting and connecting with some amazing people that I'm like, and as an adult, you don't make good friends like that because you're not in school anymore. It's not the volume that you used to have when you're little. So when you make a good friend as an adult in your late 40s, early 50s, it's like, holy crap, you hit the jackpot. So I'm meeting these amazing people and mentors. I'm doing sweat lodge. I'm going to a sweat lodge every month.
Yay.
That has been amazing. So I think we're getting there where when what they say, when the teacher's ready, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. I
Yeah.
think it's more when you're vibrating higher, when you let go of yourself holding back patterns,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
the person has already been there. You're catching up to them. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Yeah. And it's funny what you said, because I actually just recently listened to the audiobook by Mel Robbins, The Let Them Theory.
Mm,
And she did say, and I do believe that this is important. I just want to put this out there because, you know, especially a lot of my followers have struggled with things like people pleasing,
mm,
codependency. You know, it takes like roughly, I think she said something like 170 or 150 hours before you should even call someone your friend, because there's so many things. That's why people tend to be friends in school and church and
yeah.
coworker situations. So that's different. What we're talking about is not the codependence, you know, fatal attraction, people pleasing. It's
Yeah.
just like it's a soul recognition and connection where you just feel safe. Your central nervous systems are healed at a level where you get each other and there's unconditional love. It's what I believe the aliens and you know, if you want to go there, a lot of that is really that unconditional vibrational frequency. That's the light's energy, right?
Yeah, and I think that this is what this amazing plant medicine is doing for us. When you heal, you really can connect with people because you have to be connected with yourself first. And we have been conditioned to be disconnected, like especially boys. You know, boys don't cry, don't show your emotions, you're too sensitive. Women, it's like, we don't have time for your emotions right now. Or while you're on your period, like suck it up, still go to work and still produce, still, or
Yeah.
you just had a baby right now. That's okay. You're ready, even though your body's screaming, I'm not ready, or even your mind. Just think about what your body goes through when you have a, you just birth another human being. And now your role, you basically went through a death because you're not the same person. So who are you becoming now? A society's telling you, oh, you're ready to go, and having these regular jobs when you're working 9 to 5, 8 to 5, or whatever. And it's like, women, the feminine, was not created to be on this go, go, go autopilot schedule. We were created to go with the moon. Literally, we are like lunar. We are like with the flow. There's some days that no matter what I want to do, my body says, no, we're
Yeah.
not doing diddly squat today.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
okay.
Everything's up for negotiation except for the non-negotiables
Yeah.
like our meditation, our prayer, our breathing, or whatever your rituals, whatever your witchy rituals are. Those are sacrosanct and really, really, yeah, like I
Thank
said.
you. Thank you for saying that because I just went back to my practice because I moved. I used to meet with this group of men and they were amazing. Every weekday, we met and we meditated. And when I moved, I lost that and they stopped doing it. And I was like trying to figure out what am I going to do? I don't have my practice. And I thought I needed somebody else.
Mm.
And through a series of events, I found a mastermind, a 1 year mastermind that I just joined. And the leader or the person that's leading it, she gave me this prescription, and my prescription was meditation, journaling, and deep breath, right?
Mhm.
And it's only been a month, and when I tell, less than a month, and when I tell you, my body is like, where has this been? Like, we needed that time to connect, that time to go back in. And I always say all my sessions, I want you to breathe intentional because we're always breathing, right? But we're so used to it that we take it for granted until we cannot breathe. When we drink the wrong way or chew the wrong way and we cannot breathe, all of a sudden we're like, I need this. But we always need it. Like um, the intentionality and how soothing to our bodies
Yeah.
breathing is, and not in a automatic way, but in a, I'm gonna let this beautiful cleansing energy resetting thing that happens when I breathe in. I'm gonna let this in and then do it ever so slowly, like nobody's waiting for you. That no, it's not only sexy as all get out, but it resets our nervous system in such a beautiful way.
Yeah. And let's maybe dive into that, you know, with the somatics that you have learned. And I'd love for you to list out the modalities and explaining why the central nervous system is important in healing the goddess, and maybe list out some of the somatics and go through those if you like.
Yeah, for sure. So somatics really helped heal me completely, saved my life probably because I was not aware that I was on survival mode all the time. I was always just trying to catch up, and it was somehow having that carrot in front of me and never being able to catch it. And with somatics, I was able to go back into, like, reclaim my body, like what happened in the past, where it got stuck in the body, which is why I love it so much. When an emotion, when we don't have the capacity mentally or physically to handle an emotion, we shut down, we freeze or flight, let it go, don't think about it. That emotion is stuck in the body, and that comes manifest itself in the form of illnesses, headaches, ailments, um, broken relationships, cancers, because the body is trying to get rid of it. The body is trying to say, "Hey, I'm in trouble here. Help me." So when I'm helping with someone with somatics, and I did not know that I was even regressing people, which is why I added hypnosis. I realized that I could take people back to a certain age. They could feel that emotion. We can complete the process. That's what somatics does. Find it where in the body is, what time, when it happened in your life. Complete it, letting the person know that they're safe. That's the other thing. I need to be healed and safe so I can hold space for them. So I needed. I'm glad that I took the time. I took a huge time out to just heal, taking care of myself, and I did somatics for a year every week, several times with different people, so I can look at all the shit that I went through, regulate as much as I knew at the time. Now I'm regulating even more, and complete a lot of processes that I did not have the bandwidth, the words. I did not have. I did not even have the safety. That's the other thing with somatics is a lot of finding safety again, because women get violated on a regular basis, and it can be as simple as go kiss that uncle, even though you don't. Your body's telling you no, and there might not be anything wrong, but you don't know that person. You don't feel safe, but you were forced to, or go on and do this, and your body was telling you no. So I had to go back and reclaim all those times that I was forced, or sometimes I even forced myself to do things that I was not ready to do. So somatics helped me do all of that. When I discovered sound healing, my body pearl. Like, I know my name is Cat. I probably was a cat in another life. Like, I just came alive, tears down my face. I felt the vibrations all over my body. And it just felt like healing, 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 healing. Like, I just, like, it was like grounding area by area. And whatever work I did with somatics, the sound healing just like sealed the deal, like just made it that much more intense. And then talking about hypnosis, going in, like going into the subconscious and talking and finding the chatter in the background. And many of us have those chatters of you're not good enough, or your dad or your mom said things to you, or your pastor. That happened to me many times, that they said things to you. The type of wife you need to be, the type of sister you need to be, and how you show up in the world, and like stay in your place, or you're standing out too much, or you talk too much. All things that I do, right? And it's been incredible to see how complex the human body is. How it needs a lot, but not really. It just needs the right things. So being able to self-regulate, which we have to do on a regular basis. I did not know that even somebody cutting you off in traffic or almost hitting your car can affect you for hours, if not days, if you don't self-regulate. I didn't know that. I didn't know that that anxiety was in my body, or paying the bills. Like, I'm sure people watching, that if you have anxiety paying the bills, there's some stuff you need to work on.
1,000%. I think that's why there are so many money issues on the planet right now, is we're all healing a lot of abandonment, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear of loss, just all of it. That's beautiful. So I heard you say sound healing, hypnosis, anything else that you recommend for healing?
Community, the right community. I cannot express that enough. We are not created. I live alone. So if I work from home, from Zoom, and I live alone, and at the end of the day, I know my neighbor's first name. I don't know his name. I don't know what his partner does. I don't know. I don't know my other neighbor. I don't know the kids that are running around. I don't know their names. So to be doing all this work and not having someone to practice, or to see, go and play and see, okay, who's Kat today? How can she interact with other people? So I have an amazing community. Like when we do the sweat lodges, I actually recommend that if you can find a sweat lodge, do it as often as you can, because you are sweating out all those toxins in your body. There's singing. I love that this guy that does it, he's amazing. So that we can sing songs. So that worship is amazing. So that's one of the things that a lot of people miss from church, the worshiping, because it really connects you to God and you feel the atmosphere changes. So the singing, this prayer, we're praying for the world, we're praying for ourselves. There's a
Yeah.
lot of love there. And then you're with the heat, you are almost like purifying yourself, cleansing from all the things that have happened. So I recommend that. And then any type of plant medicine that you feel called to, because and I think you and I talked about it when we worked together. I was thinking mushrooms, and then we talked about it, and you said, "I don't know. I don't think it's that," and it ended up not being that. And then I finished working with you, and I'm like, "Oh, maybe now it's mushrooms," and it was. It hasn't been yet as a microdosing or as a plant medicine. It
Mhm.
hasn't been. So listening to your body knows what medicine it needs. So for me, it was cannabis in a very ceremonial, and that's where the herbs come in. So there's so many herbs that you can mix with your cannabis and do it I'm doing it as microdosing. I am high on herbs, low on cannabis. Of course, where does it come from?
Mhm.
Who planted it? How it was, processed and harvested? All those things that I did not know. So connect with someone like you, someone that is trained and also has respect for the plant. That's the other thing, because I don't know if you know the history, but cannabis was kind of taken from us and they lied to us about what cannabis was. And they have all those awful names for it. And it's like, they have no respect for it. And
It's
I
super sacred. It's super sacred.
Right. So there's not just you could just kind of take a cannabis, and I don't even say the other word because I just think it denigrated it, right? So
I
I use
agree.
cannabis. I like it that much better. So you have a pre-roll, and you're just gonna go like this the whole time. It's like, are you communing with it? Are you breathing in between? What are your intentions? How are you sitting with it? And then how do you feel afterwards? It's like it's that dance that you have with the plant. It's alive.
Mhm.
Literally we learned that in school, and for some reason as adults I forgot that plants are alive, and how you treat them, it's amazing because they were here to serve us. They were here to keep us alive and safe and healthy. So I would say get with someone that knows and respects and also has a relationship with the plant medicine that you or your body's calling for. You put that together, and I think people would be in an amazing journey for healing.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. You're speaking my language. One of my big updates is I'm working with a lot of women on yoni steaming in the womb,
Mm.
being a womb whisperer, helping heal through the sacred sexuality. That was also the, church repression and many past lives and all of that kind of stuff. So working with Ayurvedic medicine and herbs and sitting in circle, you talk about community. So that was top of mind. And if anybody's local, I have a yoni steam Mother's Day weekend, May 10th. So please spread the word. I didn't realize how healing it was. Now you talk about somatics. It's one of my things. I just sat last night in my own little sacred yoni steam ceremony. I cried, I wept, I let go of a lot of stuff, and was able to wake up this morning and just be ready to go, feeling more soft, even more feminine. It's just constantly being able to make that connection from the yoni to the throat chakra, but coming from a place of softening. So if anybody hasn't tried that, please reach out to me. I'm going to actually be starting to offer up virtual yoni steaming. So
Yeah,
stay
yeah.
tuned.
I was gonna ask. I'm like, sign me up, because there's nothing more sacred than your yoni, yeah, in your womb, right? There's nothing more sacred that has been violated many times over. And some people think a violation, they go to the extreme. This is an adult audience, right? So we can say things.
Of course.
Okay. So a violation can be something as simple as someone penetrating you before you're ready. That's a violation that you are committing to yourself. Because I can tell you that I didn't even know that I could say, I am not ready. I'm in a consensual situation. I want to be there. The person knows I want to be there, but I didn't know that I could say, I know you're ready. Obviously, we can see that. However, yours truly and my lady, we are not ready. Like if women knew that.
Again, the church didn't teach that. At least I grew up with just don't do it until you're married, which,
Right. And then
okay.
and then what? And then what? You sitting there, you're traumatized because they told you for years not to do it. So now you're sitting there thinking, what do you mean now? You just told me for 20, 25 years not to do it. now all of a sudden I can do it. What do I do? What can they do? What can they not do? How does that feel? How do I feel about it? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't know anything, nothing.
Yep. 1,000%. Yeah. Thank you for being so honest and
Yeah,
vulnerable, because
of
it's
course.
yesterday we talked about sex and orgasm. We're just
Oh,
continuing today,
beautiful.
making it more attainable. And to me, you talk about plant medicine, you talk
Yeah.
about sweat lodges, you talk
Mm.
about worship. To me, sex is a sacred act.
Oh my God.
Whether it's with yourself or someone else, and again, you can judge me for
Yeah.
saying that, and that's fine too. But at the end of the day, it's part of our health. If you study Ayurvedic medicine and the ancient yogis, hello, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, it was part of like our needs: food, water, and sex. And obviously
Yeah.
sleep. These things that keep us healthy, vibrant, keep our Kundalini Shakti flowing. That's where my addiction stemmed from, because I
Mhm.
didn't understand my desires for pleasure. I didn't
Yeah.
understand my yoni's needs. I got an autoimmune disease in my throat because I didn't understand what the goddess was screaming at me. And because, like you said, I was too much all the time, and I just continued to
Yeah.
hide and put a cover over my light, because I'm like, well, gosh, I must be too much, so therefore I must become too little.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you for sharing that. And I love what you said about when you're having sex with somebody else or others. I know that there was a lot of shame about being with yourself, spending time. How can anybody expect to have an amazing and healthy sexual relationship with a partner if you don't know how to be with yourself sexually?
Yes.
And being, just like you can just be, you can be however you do it, but you could just be, okay, I'm a sexual being. What does that sound, what is that to me?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think I was ever asked, what does that mean to you? Because it says normal stuff. What is normal? Right? What is
Mhm.
normal? I don't know what that normal is. Different for everybody.
I
So
was just going to say, yeah.
I didn't even know what normal was to me, or the words that I would say. I like this, I don't like that, I like it this, I want it again. Like, even me, I would never say all these things in an interview. I didn't even have the the courage to be able to be honest and say I'm a sexual person. I have these, I wouldn't call it needs, I have desires.
Desires.
I have desires,
Yeah.
and sex for me has always been very sacred. And I don't think
Hmm.
I knew how to express that. It was not coming from repression. It was not coming from religion, although I think it was well intended as it could be. But they never explain why you open yourself up when you are intimate with someone.
Hmm.
So if they ever took that time to say, don't say sex is bad because it was created for our enjoyment and it's an amazing way of worship,
And
but
more than procreation, by the way. It's for
more than yes, especially for us that are beyond that that age, right? Or desire to be mothers again. Um, but having that understanding that when you are with someone intimately, you are exposing yourself to whatever is going on with them internally, whatever things they're battling, whatever partner's energy that's still stuck in their body. Forget about the STDs, whatever they call it now, they call it STIs. Forget about that. That
yeah.
is bad itself, but what is that person dealing with? What depression do they have? Like, what limitations and limiting mindset do they have that now you're going to attach to yourself, and now
Hmm.
you don't even know your own sexual needs and desires and wants, and now you're going to let somebody else come in, figuratively and literally,
Literally. Yeah.
right? And you don't even know how you feel about that. You don't even know. Some people they don't even, not a peep, not a word. I'm like, that's not, to me, it's like, are you there? Is anybody hello? Are you awake? They don't even know how to express their desire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're not supposed to have pleasure or
Yeah.
express or make any kind of noise, right? Just be quiet, shut up, and sit
Hey,
down.
no kinks, no kinks, no
Just
kinks. No, and even the word kink is like, no, it's just I'm a free, wild, feminine goddess, and I will be worshipped. And I call it service. I need to be serviced. Like, okay, I have a lot of years of making up. A lot of years where nothing, because I shut it down. I say, like, it's like a taxi, like a New York City taxi. The light is off. I don't pass go. I do not collect $200, and I'm okay with that because I know what I want, I know what environment I require to be able to have that amazing ceremony. And
Mhm.
I don't want to have it if it's not like that. I don't want to have it where I cannot express and be at my most vulnerable, like nakedness. I have nowhere to hide. And I'm
Mhm.
not talking about what your body looks like. It just shows who you are. I feel like in that moment your defenses are down, and all your fears, all um, all your dreams. And how is that person going to receive that? How do they feel about your dreams? How do they feel about your need for space? That's another thing that I think a lot of women don't realize, especially introverts like me. I'm a very friendly introvert. I love to play in the wild. At the end of the day, don't look at me, don't touch me. I require, because I'm also very sensitive. I'm not picking up, but I'm exposed to all the energies. So
Yeah.
my spirit is exhausted at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
I need that time to just be with me. Like I
Rejuvenate.
need to be with me, process what happened today. Where did I go? What did he say? What did she say? How did I feel when they said that? Do I have to revisit that? Like all that stuff happens. So as women, I think, like, I was labeled avoidant. And I'm not saying that I don't have avoidant tendencies, but I did not have the language to say I'm a very sensitive being.
Yeah. I need my
And
space.
I need that cleansing space. But I also did not know I did not know to say, this is about me, not about you. I'm taking some time. I will come back. I'm not retreating from you. I am recharging. I'm plugging myself into the wall for a second. I will come back to our space and I will share and I'll be able to communicate and stuff.
Mhm.
Or tonight, I don't want to hang out. Tonight, I need to be at my place that I love by myself, maybe with my sound bowls and commuting with plant medicine and listening to what it's saying to me and just be. So had I known that before, I'm almost 49. I wish I'd known that, I don't know, for all of the 48 years of my life that I needed space.
Well,
So
we said this. I don't remember if I said this before the show or on the show, but I'll say it again. You and I are the bridges. We're the bridges. I think Gen Xers. I'm right on the cusp. I'm an Xennial, if you even know what
okay,
that is.
okay, yeah,
But I'm just behind you. And anyone
yeah,
born from 77 to 81 is considered
okay,
an Xennial.
uh-huh.
But we're the bridges. Like we can teach the millennials and hopefully, obviously, our children and Gen
Yeah.
Zers and Yers and all
And
of
the
that.
boomers if they're open.
Yep. Yep. To learn, from our mistakes. I mean, that's you and I, we get the privilege, and I say this humbly, there's no ego in this. You and I get
Yeah,
the privilege. We transmuted, we went through the fire, both
yeah,
in past lives and this life, to alchemize our soul's journey. So we'd have the codes and the light in our body to simply, hold space for ourselves, others, and the planet at this very interesting time.
yeah.
And I know you and I could probably talk for hours, but I wanted you to share a little bit about your healing cards before we
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I think I will say, to wrap that what you just said, that we're doing what somebody else just did for us too. There were others ahead that also, with their own journey, with their own healing, helped us. So they passed the baton, and we are just doing the same thing. And I think that's not only a beautiful thing, but a requirement. At least for me, it's a calling for sure. And that's where the
Absolutely.
healing cards come in. I created something that I needed, because as you alluded just now, there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of things going on, there's a lot of otherness, a lot of, we don't want people like you, we are better than you, all of these things, right, everywhere. And I'm like, I need something, a practice that I can do where I can look at something beautiful and be like, okay, this helps me. And then the cards come with a very short practice. So this is what the cards look like. They are absolutely beautiful. Like this one says, let
Uh,
go of perfectionism, which is one of my favorite things. I don't like perfection at all. And then I don't like other regular decks. And this is my own thing that I don't like, that you have to commit to read 3 to 5 pages. I
yeah.
don't want to read that much. So
Yeah.
my pages, this is one page. You
Oh,
can read
wow.
that in 30 seconds. You get to see the
Amazing.
card again, and you get to see it's my medicine, right? So it says perfectionism is just dress It's just fear dressed in gold. Drop the need to be perfect. Progress is the goal. And then the practice or action is write down one goal you are waiting to be ready for. Now, write down one imperfect action you can take toward it today.
Amazing.
And that's the practice. So the entire booklet is 42 cards full of little things like that, somatic and journaling, meditation practices. And then they come with a companion program that I created that has sound healing, full somatic sessions,
Oh,
guided meditations, guided journaling, um, journaling prompts that they can do and take it wherever they go.
I love it. Oh, that's so beautiful. And where can people purchase it?
So right now, I'm sure you have the link in the show notes.
I will.
They can purchase them there, and they just arrived, so I just put them all over there. I made my first trip to the post office, and can I just be vulnerable and say that I held on to them for two days. I couldn't release them. I had this thing of you need to be with mama for a little bit, and I honor myself. I'm like, I've been working on this since December 5th. Okay, that's when I had the idea, and they were born. In the process of working with the printer, the design, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden they arrived, and I could not just not celebrate that moment. So because of the work that I'm doing, instead of rushing and doing the shipping and all that stuff, I sat with the accomplishment. I danced, like I
Mm,
danced until my body hurt. I ran up and down here, and I savored, which I did not know how to do that before. I savored it. I embodied it. Like I'm like, this is happening. This was a thought. Now it's something that not only I can hold, but others can hold.
mm.
And that is what it's an amazing win for me that I was able to honor myself and not make me wrong for needing 2 days because I did not need to have a reason. And I think a lot of women, I think I'm gonna help a lot of women right now. We're so logical. We want to have a reason why we don't want to do shit. We want to have a reason why we don't trust somebody. We need to understand it. And now I don't. Now I'm like, 2 days ago, I'm like, I'm not ready. So I didn't question it.
Yeah.
I just honored. So I think if we want others to honor us, the best
Mhm.
way to do that is to honor ourselves and our needs. Since as children, many of us, me included, our needs and desires were not honored.
Mhm.
The least we can do as grown-ups in reparenting ourselves is to honor
Mhm.
what we require
Yeah.
and see how that affects our nervous system.
Amen. Yeah, I had a big issue in the past few years that I cleaned up big time about. Anytime I spoke my truth or even said, I don't trust that person, I made myself bad and wrong.
Yeah.
I had shame and guilt that would just flood my system. And I had to purge a lot of that. So thank you. That's a very deep, profound. It's like when someone gives birth to a child, do they go back to work the next day? No.
Yeah.
You
Oof.
have this time to be with your newborn baby card deck,
Yeah.
and to celebrate and to heal and to be with and be grateful. And I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to share. And thank you for holding space because I felt comfortable enough to be vulnerable, to bring my real self. I've been peeling off the layers and coming out the woo-woo closet little by little. And now I'm like, okay, I might not be ready, but I'm coming out because I know it encourages others. So thank you so much for leading the way. I appreciate
Of
it.
course. Absolutely. Absolutely. When as a goddess, I see you and I honor you and just appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Just a couple announcements and then I'll turn back to you for any closing thoughts. So I'll give you a moment if there's anything else on your heart that you feel led to share. I just want to remind people and also share some new things and exciting things. If you have any need to see this episode or a previous episode, go to magdalenagrace.com. That's got like my menu of all of my podcasts, my YouTube channel. all of my programming and also the Yoni Steam information. You can join my private WhatsApp group there. I'm going to be adding that link today. And also, I'm updating my healthyandwealthyandwise.com domain. I'm starting actually, this is the first time I've announced this. I'm going to start calling myself the Abundance Alchemist and going along with health, wealth, and expanded consciousness and basically helping evolve my programming into more focusing on lead generation, sales, and wealth, and building your business in a conscious way, your health in a conscious way, and then of course through plant medicine, yoga, breath work, like all of the things we talked about today, and combining that more and more in my containers and year-long programs and building a tribe around it. So if you want more information on that, stay tuned to healthyandwealthyandwise.com, and you can also subscribe to my updated newsletter that's going to have health tips, wealth and consciousness tips, either weekly or every other week. So these are just some things that have been born since the eclipse that I've been sitting with, and like my sister here, now I'm sharing and letting people become aware and conscious of the changes that are happening here in my life, and healthy and wealthy and wise as well. So again, if you like the show, please hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell if you're on YouTube, and share this message, especially with women out there who may be struggling and maybe post-divorce, becoming a mom, struggling with their sexuality, struggling with depression, anxiety. We talked about a lot of these different things. They're struggling because they want community, or maybe they have a religion wound. It all is up for grabs because we talked about pretty much all of that today in less than an hour, which is incredible. Kat, I can't believe we did that. So stay tuned. I have some really cool episodes coming up in the future. I'm going to have a dream interpreter. I'm going to have a tantra orgasm specialist. We're just bringing out all the taboo discussions here, because it's time to wake up and expand and really embrace and embody our truth more and more. So Kat, thank you so much again for being here today. I will share all of her information and her link to her healing cards in the show notes. But what else do you want to leave our audience with today as a closing thought, statement, or favorite quote?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all the goodies that are coming. That was amazing. I'm so excited. I want to give something that was gifted to me maybe about a month ago. Oh no, a little more than that, maybe a couple months ago. And I had to put it on my body because it is this life-changing. So I turned it into a sigil. It's still itchy and it's just gorgeous. And it stands for certainty beyond logic. When we operate from that understanding that we need to remember that when we have faith beyond what you can see, like my cards were thought December 5th, today I can hold them. I have certainty in the finished product. I was the Lulu, right? I was operating from, this makes no sense, but I'm going to move forward anyway. And that's why we create space for miracles. That's where we leave space for amazingness to come forth. So please give yourself this certainty beyond logic, understanding that when you leap, not only will the steps appear, but you can actually fly.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I love that. Take a picture of that and send that to me if you can. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, I can.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you again, everyone. Please follow Kat, get to know her, probably have her back sometime again in the next 18 months for a review and a refresh on what's going on in your world. And until next time, everyone, here's to your best health, your best wealth, by expanding your consciousness and wisdom, by going within and healing yourself, whatever that looks like for you. We wish you nothing but the best, because I always say now, the best is yet to come. Bye-bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe, download, leave a 5-star rating or review, and also please refer this to a friend you know who may benefit from this inspirational message. We hope to see you again. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or join my Facebook community. And if you are looking to manifest your best health, your best wealth by trusting your best wisdom within, please go to my website, www.microdosingforhealth.com. Again, www.microdosingforhealth.com, to quiet your mind, get into your heart, heal your body, and manifest your best health and your best wealth.